What's your favorite snack? Is it when Lynn is running down the field on the attack? Or is it in the studio with her and Sammy M? Finn's in the background, won't stop, God know when. Maybe's in there too, little puppy one. Come on, Snacks. Our podcast is so fine.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Snacks. I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams, and this is a show about women's soccer, but it's also a show about technical difficulties that we've been on for the last 36 minutes because for some reason my Wi-Fi sucks and everybody's frozen.
I feel like every week we have technical difficulties, and every time I'm like, it's truly nobody's fault.
Yeah, it's not, but it's just like annoying.
Here's what we're doing today on the pod. NWSL recap from the exciting games this past weekend. NWSL alum and one of our best friends, Steph McCaffrey, joins us to tell her story. And she's also going to make up some jingles where if you know Steph, you'll know what I mean. And if you don't know her, you're about to know what I mean.
You're about to find out. Okay, so do you want to talk about what's new in our lives, or you want to just get into it?
Well, I mean, what really could even be new? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's really not much besides me doing a world tour of all the teams I used to play on.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going. The first one didn't go too well, so let's make the next one great.
Yes, let's make the next one great, Lynn. Okay, so we are going to go through the games from this past weekend, starting with North Carolina, who beat Houston on Friday, 1-0.
Yeah, they had to abandon the game because of weather. There was a lot of controversy on that. Like, they played for how many minutes? 52, I believe it said.
Yep, they started into the second half, but I guess the NWSL rule is in the event a game cannot be completed, the game counts if the entire first half was completed. So they just called the game, but it had like a 3-hour delay. It was like going to be past midnight, so they just called it.
I know. I feel like that rule has just changed this year. Like, I feel like in the past it had to be 60 minutes, but now it's 45. And also, I just don't know what like the other solution would be. It would be like to come back in the morning and play, which is not a great solution either. So
sometimes there are no great solutions.
That is the truth there. But you would think that at this point in the league, you would have a protocol. Like, how long do you delay? Because
there is a protocol. It's if the half gets played.
Well, no, I know, but like, how long are you going to wait? Because like Kaylee Kurtz tweeted, so glad it ended up drinking a coffee at 11:43 p.m. Like, how long are you going to let the players wait before you're like, okay, let's call this game? Or is starting the match back up at 11 p.m. really a great idea as well?
That is a great point, Lynn. I don't know what the protocol is, but there are questions being asked.
Yeah, I don't know, but you would think by now we would have something figured out.
If you had to rate that game using emojis, what would you use?
I would use the one where there's like a water drop on the person's head and like their face is like dope.
Oh,
like a dope.
Okay, I was gonna just use a lightning bolt. Is mine just like way too obvious and boring?
Yeah, this one. Look at it in the chat.
Oh, like sad, sweaty rain. Sad rain.
Like sad, wet rats in the rain. Dope.
I mean, your sound effect is arguably better than the emoji. Okay, let's move on. Portland tied Angel City 3-3. The talk of this game was the friggin' goalkeeper, Bella Bixby, backheel in the 97th minute.
I know. She's the second keeper to score a goal, and the other one was Michelle Beto's in Portland as well, playing for Portland. But what the heck?
This was wild. I feel like you usually send the goalkeeper forward into the box to, like, I don't know, maybe get their head on it or something, because, like, I don't know, it's usually just a wild last-ditch attempt, and she literally, the ball's bouncing around, she backheels it right into the goal. I was like, how? It was sick.
Did you see that picture? It was like there was a picture of Didi and Bixby, and they were like standing right and Bixby was standing right in front of her, like obviously marking the keeper. But it was just a crazy picture because you never see two keepers on one side of the field, and you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that's wild. It's like, whose goal is this?
I know. Okay, so then Orlando beat San Diego 3-1, and people are calling that so far the biggest upset of the season.
Well, yeah, Orlando being 12th and San Diego being in 3rd, I feel like it was a big upset, but good for Orlando. Like, go on, Orlando.
Go on with your bad selves, girls.
Well, Melanie Barsamius made her debut as the youngest NWSL player ever. I feel like we keep reporting this and they just keep getting younger. 15 years and 181 days. So congratulations to her.
That's insane because I haven't felt old yet. But now that I just thought about it, like I would have been a sophomore in high school when she was born.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Our bones are made out of dust.
So old. Also, Racing Louisville and OL Reign tied 2-2 in the NWSL's 1000th match.
Yeah, congratulations to the NWSL. Would you say that this game was a honorable tribute to the league?
Yeah, and the madness that happened in it? Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
We had a team that was up 2-0. We had a comeback. There was a red card, like a 90th minute equalizer. It was crazy.
If we had to rate that game with an emoji, it would be a clown face.
Oh, a clown face. I was thinking like the tongue is sticking out. I was just looking at them. The tongue is sticking out and it's like the craziness. It's like, ugh.
I like that one.
I like emojis and sound effects apparently.
Yeah, you have sound effects for all of them. You went doop and ugh. We forgot to do Orlando, San Diego. I feel like that's going to be a purple devil horns.
I was thinking that same thing. 100%.
Oh, we have the same rating.
100%.
And then what about Portland, Angel City?
That one.
How about a glove?
Oh, for the keeper. I would just put like the upside down smiley face. Kind of like, huh? What the heck?
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. What would you put for the emoji for your game?
Well, what side are you on? For my side, I'm putting a sad face. But not the super sad face, like the one that just has like the frown face, like the wide eyes and frowny.
Well, for my side, I think I'm going to put the dancing lady in red for Dabinia. 2 goals. La da da.
2 goals. Yeah. She did score twice. That's the truth. Am I upset about it? Yes.
Well, the Kansas City Current on a friggin' roll here. They lost their first 3 and then they won their next 3. And Gotham continues to play on the road. They are now in North Carolina and they have a midweek game and another away game at the weekend. So they will hope to turn that around.
Yeah, we got a tough go here. We went from a 3-game week to another 3-game week. So we're just going to keep trucking along. Obviously that sucked and you never want to lose, but sometimes when you lose, you just want to like rectify it right away. And we get to do that. So that's in the past and we have to look forward because we play in 2 days.
And tough times don't last. Tough people do.
That's my favorite saying. My favorite saying.
Okay, so coming up, we have a very fun conversation with Steph McCaffrey. She's singing jingles. She's telling her story. So don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Okay, Lynn, how do you want to start this shindig?
Just start with the guest segment, I guess.
All right, looky here. We have the NWSL 5th overall pick in 2015, an NWSL standout for years, women's soccer's unofficial class clown, someone who has overcome enormous difficulties and found her way through to thrive. It's Steph McCaffrey. Welcome to Snacks.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you. I know. I mean, what an honor. What can I say? What an honor.
Steph, I don't think I realized that you were the 5th overall pick.
Yeah, I know. I think if people actually watched BC play against Pepperdine against you, you probably would have been picked before me. But unfortunately, I don't think they had YouTube back then. So I was able to sneak through on false reputation to get in ahead of you.
Shut up.
Steph, how do you feel about your unofficial title of being women's soccer's class clown?
I feel like in my time, there was no one better at class clown. I just was thinking yesterday, someone at work told me, they basically alluded to the fact that I was very mature in meetings. And I was like, what? How boring. Like, yeah. I've really lost it. I don't know. I mean, Sonnet's been nipping at my coattails for a while. I don't think she'll ever get there. So I think, you know what I mean? And
she's calling her out. And Sonnet, step your game up.
In terms of class clown, I feel like I was Coke and Sonnet was Pepsi, and the only thing that's going to break me is a new entrant.
I don't see, where do we even go from here?
I don't even know.
I was trying to tell Jay, like, oh, Steph's funny. Like, we're going to have to be on our toes here. And this is just kind of exactly what I anticipated.
Yeah, I don't know. Are any of the young national team players or NWSL players really funny?
I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, I don't think we'd even know because they're all on TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's like a different generation. But I also like, I don't know if they're the same kind of funny as you and Sonnet. Like, it's just different.
Exactly. I think this class clown vibe, to be class clown, you have to be like a little, like you're getting detention. Like you're a little bit like edgy.
Yeah.
If you're getting class clown.
Yeah. And I think the reality is like with nowadays, I just feel like in all aspects of everything, like everything's recorded, everything's on film. Like there was no inside jokes. Like me and Sonnet, I think, reigned supreme in inside jokes. And now every joke is just a TikTok joke or an Instagram joke or the world knows about it.
So you're original is what you're saying.
We're original. Like I said, we're not doing TikTok dances. We're coming up with the jokes ourselves. That's a difference.
Well, so then how did you feel when Sonnet was actually doing TikToks?
I'm not on TikTok.
Oh.
I'm not really on anything anymore. So what I do now is I have Instagram and Twitter on my laptop. And I re-download the app for like must-see content moments, which for me now is flea markets and rec soccer injuries.
I was going to say, you're not on Twitter. Do you know how many times I've seen you tweet about Christy?
Yeah. So I know what's funny now is I'm in venture capital now, and a big part of VC is kind of Twitter culture. Like people will constantly tweet threads about industries, companies they're excited about, basically themes they're seeing in certain sectors. And all I tweet about is Christy's stats playing for the national team. They're unbelievable. Did you see she completed 62 out of 69 passes for Japan as the six?
I did because you tweeted it.
Yeah.
I also saw, Steph, we're going to get to your soccer playing days, your current soccer playing days, but I saw you about your broken toe situation.
Yeah. So it's touch and go. The thing is, when you're a civilian, like, I'm not going to go get an x-ray because, like, who cares? So you just go off feel and you go off the Instagram vote.
Yeah.
The Instagram,
82%.
82% think I broke it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if it still hurts after a week, you broke your toe.
Yeah, I will say that I don't think that in the athletic world, they care either. If I had a broken pinky toe, they'd say, suck it up. But at least after soccer, I get to like let my toes out. Whereas I think you're in shoes all day. So that's unfortunate.
So, but Lynn, you broke your arm.
I did. But it was just a little, just a little non-displaced fracture. So it's fine.
Oh, that's nothing.
It's nothing compared to a pinky toe.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're like
in the VC world, a pinky toe in the VC world.
Yeah. A pinky toe in the VC world is much, much more prohibitive than a hairline fracture in professional soccer. So shame on you for making such a big deal of it.
Honestly, I'm so sorry to the soccer world for causing a scene.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
Okay, Steph, on that note, let's move on to, we want to hear like your story starting from your time in the NWSL into where you are now. There's like, what is that, 8 years, but there's so much to tell in that time. So let's rewind back to 2015. You get drafted 5th overall into the NWSL and you're playing for Boston for your hometown team. What's that like? Yeah,
I think it was a different experience just because I was going to school, living at my parents' house, and playing professional soccer. And usually you're just kind of doing one of those things, but doing all three of them at once was pretty crazy. I actually liked going to school while I was in my first year because it kind of gave me a distraction from all of the pressure. And I actually think that was the best year I ever had, just because it was you kind of had nothing to lose, right? Like I was making 15 grand. I didn't know if the league would stay alive. And I was like, okay, I'll just do this as long as the league is viable and then I'll go into finance. It's really cool that girls now don't have to answer that question. Yeah. But it was crazy that I think you guys were in Western New York at the time, and we were all just kind of living with this conundrum that like this could end at any moment. What's your backup plan? And for me, certainly, it wasn't to go play in Europe. And I think that's where maybe my story was different. Like if the NWSL folded, I was going into investment banking, full stop. And maybe that comes from, and Sam knows this, I was always kind of a quiet nerd. But that was my plan, was play as long as I can, play well, be a good teammate. And if everything goes under, like pack up your bags and go to Wall Street.
Yeah. So just to clarify, BC, are they on semester or trimester? Like, when was the end time of the school year?
Finals were mid-May.
Okay. And then we had to report back then.
Later than now. Like,
yeah.
Probably in like April.
Yeah. So you had a month of, because I did the same thing. I remember going to preseason for a week and then flying back to Pepperdine. And then I flew up to our first 2 games with Western New York because they were in Seattle and Portland. Like, I flew up to Seattle and then flew down back to Pepperdine, took a final, and then flew back up to Portland. So it was kind of like crazy. But I think, like you said, at the time, I at least wasn't willing to either like stop to go in for $15,000. I think I was making $12,000 at the time.
Yeah, that's because no one watched that game.
Exactly, that one game.
$3,000 swing.
You stole my $3,000 from the 5th pick to the 6th pick. Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. So it is very cool that now people have the opportunity to, if they don't want to finish college, they don't have to.
It's so funny now that we're talking about the draft picks. I remember reading Charlie Nemo's rationale for drafting you, and it was just like, we believe Lynn in a few years will be by far the best striker in this pool because of her physical attributes and nose for the goal. And it was like so true. Like, you ended up being that times 100. So anyway,
yeah, that draft, our draft year was
sick.
Good.
It was really good.
Yeah,
dude, like there
Lynn
will never
especially.
Yeah, you guys had you two, Abby, right?
You, Sarah Killian, Morgan Bryan. I just mean in our year.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We were a powerhouse.
To Western New York was me, Sam, Abby, and Jay from the first pick. And
that's a killer class.
And then it was you, Sarah Killian, Danny Carroll-Preco. Like, everybody's still playing, I feel.
Yeah.
Besides
it was a really good class.
Yep.
But okay, anyway, so you had a great year in 2015, your rookie season. You got called up to the national team. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you scored in your first cap. You got traded to the Red Stars. And so talk through those next couple years of, like, you had a taste of the national team, you moved to Chicago.
In so many ways, Chicago was kind of the first time I was ever really pushed. Like I said, when I was playing for the Breakers, I was living at my parents' house. I was comfortable. I was kind of playing on this thrill that, like, I have nothing to lose. Like, what, the league might not even survive. And then all of a sudden, you get a taste of the national team. You're now I felt like I was on the best team in the league and had a real shot to, like, make something of a career. And it was so funny. As soon as, like, soccer was less of something fun and more of this could be something that I do for 10 years, the pressure ratcheted up times 100. And I think that for more so that 3rd year, I really struggled with that. Playing time went down and dealt with something that I think everyone on this call and, like, every soccer player deals with at a certain point, which is, how do you deal with not playing, fight to get back on the field, but still be a great teammate? And I think now, obviously, like, looking back, that was the most valuable year I ever had, because it just teaches you, like, every week just sucks. Like, you go out there, you're a cone on set pieces. Like, you're just there to serve the 11. And I think that, like, every person, no matter what industry you're in, like, serving a lineup that at the time is best for the team is one of the best lessons you can learn in life. And I kind of carry through that summer in Chicago when I was, like, brutally benched, barely playing any minutes, is like, okay, if you can get through that, this probably isn't as bad as what I'm doing now, whether it's at Goldman or now in BC.
Yeah, I think what you said about that, like, serving the greater good of the team. Yeah. But what's so hard about that in that moment is that you are like, I want a chance to show that I belong out there. But in this week, in this training, in this drill, I'm not getting that chance. I'm playing maybe 75% defense, or I'm acting as if I'm the other team, or I'm literally being a cone in a drill. So you sometimes don't get the opportunity to be like, I could have crossed that. I could have scored that. I want that chance to show you that I belong there. And that, I think, is what takes this toll on you of, like, I want to serve the team and I am here, but I also want a chance. So you're constantly battling that you're missing your own opportunity, you know? No,
I know. And I think now some of my favorite athletes to watch are, like, people that are either a little bit older or a little under-talented and are just, like, hanging around and watching that 15 minutes when they come on, and, like, watching these people with the weight of the world on them try to take their chance, that's now like my new favorite minute in sports. Like watching the national team, no matter who it is. Obviously, like I'm Christy first. Everybody knows that. I made that very clear. Not going to hide from that. But I think it's hard not to get excited for any role player, particularly on the national team with the World Cup roster on the line, coming in and doing some really, really impressive things with like such an exorbitant amount of pressure on them. It's crazy. And I think, Sam, that was something with you that I was so impressed with when you were like coming with your rise into the starting lineup. I remember you were just hanging around. And then you played against Ireland. Is that the right game?
I think it was one of them, maybe.
Yeah. And I think that moment was like one of my proudest moments as a friend, was watching you take the chance, knowing that your chance was 2% of what other people were getting from a cumulative basis on that year. And being able to maximize that 2% is really awesome, regardless of what sport it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Steph.
That was so kind. So I have a question. So like you said, you've translated a bit from like the soccer world into your VC world, and how you're like, well, this can't be as bad as that. But like Sam said, when you are in that position and you just want an opportunity, you just want a chance, and you have to be a team player in that moment, and you have to be the other team. And do you think that this is like such a long question?
No,
but for me, I feel like anytime I'm like, okay, I just want to see the field, but I'm not going to get that. I have to say, okay, well, what can I do to make them the best? And that's going to show what I can contribute. I can contribute not only like now I have to be the best Lynn to make them the best them. So do you think like that's how people get their opportunity? And do you think that translates into the VC world as well? Or do you just like hang around? You're like, I just hope the coach sees me.
No. So I actually think my answer to that question is no. And I think that what you do is you earn like a small chance in the game by performing well in training. So let's take it to venture capital. I think like I know a way that a lot of firms do it is they have one big meeting per week or every 2 weeks to flag companies that they might be excited about. I think if you can show in that meeting or in an internal meeting that you know this industry inside and out, and you are the best person to be on a call with a founder when you're fighting for a deal, you're much more likely to get into that meeting than if you show up and pout to the internal meeting. They're never going to take you to go meet the company.
Yeah.
And I think that being excellent in your attitude and excellent in the time you get internally, which I would equate that to practice, like with the national team, for example, that's kind of how you get your chance. And walking the line of being active in training or in internal meetings, but not making it all about you is really, really hard. And it takes a level of maturity that I think I didn't experience necessarily until like soccer. It wasn't my choice that I had to sit out of soccer for a long time. It was like just as I was getting there.
Thank you for that answer, Steph. We're actually just getting to that. In the spring of 2018, you started to get sick. And soccer kind of got taken away from you not by your choice. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about what happened and how you dealt with the years after, the months and the years after that, feeling sick, kind of losing soccer.
Yeah.
And whatever you're like comfortable sharing, I think we'd love to hear that.
To add to that, like I would also love to know too, like you said at the beginning of this, your initial mindset was, I'm going to play soccer until maybe the league folds or whatever, and then I go to the VC world. But then you get sick and soccer is taken from you. So can you like talk about your mindset as well in that sense, as well as Sam's question?
Yeah, no, I think it was in some ways like my own league folded because I couldn't. Do I think that there's a world, and just I'll get into what actually happened because I don't think I've ever talked about it publicly just because my priority was getting better. But do I think now I could go back and train and try to scrap for a Challenge Cup spot? Probably. But at the time, like doctor's advice was your nervous system has been damaged pretty severely from getting a virus that we think is Epstein-Barr. And when you train, you strain your nervous system. So for that to heal, you're going to have to take a very, very significant amount of time off. And I just didn't feel like at the time taking what was at least a year, more like 2 years off from soccer, and then coming back at the time I would have been like 28 was the path I wanted to take. In some ways because I had been preparing for doomsday all along. Like I had taken the GMATs to get into business school. I was reading the Wall Street Journal every day. So yeah, it's almost like I fulfilled my own prophecy. Like I didn't need to be doing that. I was like, oh, just in case, I have to be ready. And it's like I almost caused my own tornado or hurricane. But yeah, like I'm feeling a lot better now. It was a crazy month trying to figure out what it was. I remember we were in the airport in Houston and I was like, so if my face is twitching. And she was like, oh, I bet you're just dehydrated. And then she looked at it and she was like, oh my God, like your face is really twitching. And kind of went through this crazy wave of ups and downs of medical diagnoses of trying to figure out what it was, getting scans, ruling out everything that was really scary.
Sorry to interrupt, Steph. Like, so you were traveling and your face was twitching. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, you went back to Chicago and you realized something was like off. Like, I think you were having a few other symptoms that caused you to go see some doctors and try to get some answers.
Yeah. And I think this is like we don't need to rabbit hole into like the pros and cons of the medical industry, but I think people have knee-jerk reactions to, oh, okay, like your nervous system is messed up, stress ramps up nervous system, you're a professional athlete, you're just stressed out. But I feel like we know our bodies more than anything. And I was like, I'm not stressed out. Like that doesn't am I stressed out? Yeah. Am I stressed out to the point where my face is twitching, my legs are restless, my left leg's going numb, and I feel like there's like an elephant sitting on my chest? Probably not. And so I think I would encourage people who feel like they know their body better than anyone else to keep fighting for the answers that they need, when one doctor might be telling them, okay, the answer is you're having this problem, let's try some medication, and to just seek your truth and with the knowledge of your own body. Because I was very close to not doing that, to going on copious amounts of medication for stress, for something that I firmly believe and later proved that was not stress. It was a viral infection that was hurting my nervous system.
Well, yeah, that is incredible advice to anybody going through something, to advocate for yourself and get answers that you feel like are good enough answers for you. So you're talking to all these doctors. You moved home eventually, right? Yeah. To kind of take a minute to like deal with this. It was really serious. Yeah. You couldn't play.
And what's crazy is like if I had an injury that took me out of soccer, I think in some ways it would have been harder, because at that point I was fighting for just to be like a day-to-day normal person. And you saw some of this, Sam. Like I would come over, I had such bad nerve pain in my back. I would sit on a little donut because my sciatica pain was so bad. And I think for me, it also presented this lesson of gratitude, to be grateful for smaller moments. Because I think all three of us at that point, getting coffee, going for walks, like it all felt very secondary to be able to, it felt very secondary to the bigger moments we were playing in and striving to be a part of. So I just basically took a step back from all forms of achievement and strove to exist in a healthy way, and also figured out at the time like what I wanted. And I think in that time realized that I had a second life to live outside of soccer. And this was the silver lining, was that now it made sense to go live it. So I applied to business school. Sam, I think you were there when I got denied from Harvard. And like it just kind of went through the ups and downs. Do you remember that on the couch?
I don't know if I remember that, but now I feel horrible that I don't.
No, don't. And so I remember we were sitting on the couch. I applied to like all the big titans of business schools. And it was funny, while I was going through that application process, all of the lessons I had learned about being grateful just for health fell by the wayside, and I was all of a sudden devastated that I didn't get into Harvard.
Because you wanted this, you were back wanting this achievement again.
Yeah, because it's like, who cares? It's like I can sit down again now. Now I want to be sitting down at Harvard Business School. Ended up deciding between, ironically, Chicago Booth and Wharton, and was just like, I think I'm ready to move on from Chicago as a whole, and went to Wharton with no idea what I was doing.
How long from your diagnosis to, or when you started feeling your face twitching, to the time you decided I'm going to retire? How long was that?
I decided to retire, like the way when your nervous system is healing, there's like an initial spike, which is awful. And then I guess like it kind of, it putters down in waves. When I got the second wave in like September or October, 7 months later, I basically came to the conclusion that this is going to be a longer fight than I thought. And I think that going back, waiting another year basically, and then starting to train and going back for what would have been the 2020 or 2021 season just felt too far away, when there was a world I was really excited about. So I said, I'm going to apply to the January deadline for all these business schools, and if I get in, I'm going to go. And I think if not, like I had crazy ideas. I'm going to start my own real estate company. I'm going to go out and try to raise money for my own VC fund, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
Do you, even though you had this second world and place and second job, were you still scared or nervous or felt like you were mourning soccer?
Yes. I just felt like I was mourning my body first. Like I went from being like at Wharton, like when I would work out hard, I didn't feel great. And what was interesting is I spent 6 months leading up to in morning soccer. Felt like I was finally at a place where I was a person outside of what I had done my whole life. And then I got to business school. Sorry, that's Mabel. Got to business school, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're the soccer player." And like no one knows anything at that point. So like in the Wharton world, like whether or not you've sat on the bench for 3 national games or you've won 7 World Cups, like people don't really get it. So they were just like, "Oh, you played on the national team for 10 years." And I was like, "Nah, not quite." But, you know, remember those friendlies in 2015 and 2016? I was there. So people just, again, like put me on a pedestal of soccer. So that was I purposely tried to unwind and tell people like what my story was, but at the end of the day I just gave up. Now people will be like, "Oh, are you me and him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah, we talk a lot on here actually about your identity outside of soccer and how when you go through an injury or when somebody retires, you have to refigure that out, who you are. What are your relationships like now when this thing that we've done our whole lives is a little bit different? And so I feel like that must have been a huge challenge to go through this time to heal physically and then kind of mentally and emotionally be like, "Okay, I'm done with soccer," and then enter into this thing where everybody was like wanting that from you and seeing you as that, and you kind of had to reinsert yourself as that person.
Yeah, no, I think it was really tough. In the way I tried to navigate it was, if people aren't going to let this go, like if I'm going to be this person, I'm going to use it as a trampoline to get the position I want, get the internships I want, and show what I can add to a team. I came into business school. I didn't know what revenue or expenses were. Like, I didn't really know anything. And I was competing for finance roles. So it kind of taught me a lesson that, okay, I haven't done what other people have done applying to the same positions of me, but I've done something else, and basically advocated that in 2 to 3 months, I could learn the math. But in 2 to 3 months, the people I was competing against couldn't learn to go through what I had gone through in Chicago when you're the cone in the set pieces drill.
Yeah.
Just like getting metaphorically punched in the face.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. And that's why they say that athletes are the best. They keep saying that. I've never had another job, so I don't know if it's true, but you seem like you're saying to me it's true.
If I am ever fortunate enough to start my own company or investment fund, I am hiring Division I walk-ons. Those people literally, like, I do not have enough positive things to say about Division I walk-ons who just, they carry stuff to the bus, they never play, they get up at 5 a.m., they don't complain, and they're just in it for the good of the team and for like an aggressive desire to want to work hard. The walk-on mentality is kind of what I've tried to carry into this next weird world that I live in.
That's really cool. You've unlocked a treasure trove, it sounds like.
Yeah, dude. I might start a recruiting agency called Walk On You and just funnel these kids to like Goldman, Bain, BCG.
So are you going to start like a soccer team as well? Like what's your what is your like next big thing that you want to do? People
ask me a lot like, "Oh, the league's taking off. You should come work for the league. You should come to this." It's so tempting because there's nothing like, my end goal is like end up for NWSL to thrive. Like, I don't want anyone who beat out Lynn Williams for the 5th pick in the NWSL draft to have to sign a $15,000 contract. But I think that I'm much more equipped to help the NWSL if I stay kind of outside of sports for the next, I would say, 8 to 10 years, and then come back with a tremendous amount of experience to either, I don't know if it means, like, my dream would be to be the majority individual equity owner of a team, or be a part of a group that is willing to put, yes, like effort on the line and whatnot, but like bringing either a major financial sponsor or putting a ton of their net worth on the line because they believe that this team is going to thrive. And I've always said this publicly, like, Kara Nortman's like my mentor and my North Star in that, because she obviously started Monogram, and she just posted a quote basically saying, the best way to get the world to pay attention here is for our fund to return, our fund to have best-in-class returns. And getting people like that, and Alexis, and the people we've seen to come into this world, take their expertise from tech and entrepreneurship and venture capital, and pour their heart and soul into women's sports, is what I want to do. I'm just 8 or 10 years behind them.
Why women's sports? Like, why do you think those people and you see the NWSL as a place to put that passion and money into? Like, what is the why for you?
Because I don't want anyone, in some ways I don't want anyone else to be in the position that I'm in. Like, I put in 26 years of like brutal hard work. So have you, Lynn. So have you, Sam. I came out of playing professional soccer and I was working 17 hours a day in Goldman investment banking because I had no money. Like, I want people to retire, like, and I want like you guys and like Christy to be able to say, hey, we're not working for 5 years. Let us know when you want to take vacation. And obviously, like, is that an exaggeration? Yes. But like the fact that I had to go into investment banking because I was like, I need to, like, I want to pay for school, like, and be self-made in that way. And I need to set myself up for another future. Like, ideally, it would have been like, I take my money from women's soccer and put that equity into a team right away. And I just want to open up optionality for female athletes who have given their life to becoming a top 0.1% and have that be it.
Yeah, I think that, first of all, that's incredible, Steph. I think that besides the fact of playing forever and thinking about retiring or it being over at one day, the other thing is like, what am I going to do next? And a lot of athletes don't have the time to figure out what they're going to do next at the same time as putting their whole heart into being a professional. So I just think that that's incredible. I hope that there are more people out there like you who are willing to help and want like a better future for women's sports. Selfishly women's soccer, because obviously I'm involved in that. But I do think that that's amazing. Yeah. We are going to get to the 7v7 tournament that you're doing. But before we get to that, I want to just ask, now that you're playing soccer again, how long did it take you to feel like, okay, I want to get back into, I want to start doing 7v7 tournaments and playing co-ed and all the things?
My goal was to get to an elite investment fund. And the path to do that is you have to go to business school. You generally have to do investment banking. And then you're eligible for a spot for one of these seats. And so I wanted to accomplish that before I focused on soccer, because for better or for worse, I convinced myself that it wasn't important and it was a distraction. And I think a common question people ask me in interviews is, what were your grades at BC or what were your grades at Wharton? And I would say, like, yeah, like I scraped together a 3.5, but I had the mentality that every hour spent away from soccer was an hour wasted, because if you want to be the best in the world at something, you shouldn't have another focus. And this is like more of a controversial opinion, but I still feel that way. So when I wanted to be top in my class at Goldman and then crush the interviews for Anthos and these other funds and then perform like in my first 6 to 12 months at one of these funds, I didn't feel like going to play soccer at 7 p.m. was something that I had time for or wanted to focus on. But I also think that like mental health matters and longevity matters. And I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, I don't love this for 15 hours a day. I think I love it for 10. So what can I do to like enhance my life? And I got to that point a couple months ago, and it was right when the 7v7 tournament kind of popped up.
Okay, so you're playing in this 7v7 tournament that Heyo is leading the charge about, and you're playing against teams like Wrexham. Like, tell us more about it.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I've always thought that when you haven't played soccer in 4 years, the best place to start is playing against Premier League men. So the other team, I think the Wolves are submitting a team. LA Galaxy alumni have a team. Duke alumni have a team. So a couple notes on that. First is, it's unclear, like when the Wolves and Wrexham are sending a team, like is Wrexham sending Paul Mullen? Or is like Ryan Reynolds going to throw on a jersey and play for fun? I sincerely hope it's the latter, but like we don't know that that's the case.
Either way, Steph, you just got to go out there and try your hardest, and hopefully you don't break another piggy.
Steph, you're doing a scissor move and then acceleration. Like I already know
your signature. That's your signature.
Give us your signature.
Well, this is the thing. My signature was like, I would say acceleration over 5 yards. That's kind of gone now. Let's just take it back, like a step back. Do you know how many times another person has run into me and I've fallen to the ground since I retired? Like literally once, and it was like an accident. So like just absorbing impact is like something that's new for me.
Dude, I feel that. Like after being out with my hamstring last year, there was a lot of times that I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Like I don't know if I want to take this hit, but you'll get it back.
Yeah. So I think, like, am I faster than the average 30-year-old woman who plays rec soccer? Yeah. But like we're playing against Premier League men, so I think I got to find another strategy. And I think the only way to do that is to watch Gotham and watch the way they move the ball.
Honestly, I think so. Get your notepad out.
Yeah.
Maybe run. I think you should maybe train as well.
I go to Barry's and I play rec soccer, and like that's all I have. And I said that to Heo. Heo, I'm so pumped Heo invited me. And I just was like, dude, I'm in. Like, I am so in. This is the challenge I've been looking for. But like, I work at least 12 hours a day and like go to Barry's and play some rec. Like, so just setting the standards. And she was like, yep, we're good.
Okay, when and where is this tournament?
It is June 1st in North Carolina. And I believe some of the games are going to be on ESPN.
I love it.
So I love it. This is like a serious tournament. There's $1 million cash prize.
Wow. Kind of like the Challenge Cup.
Challenge Cup.
So what I'm hoping and I've actually thought about this too. Maybe I just have a great TST, win $1 million, slide into a Challenge Cup team. The tournament. It's called TST. So take that $1 million, get into a Challenge Cup team that's going to win. Right now that looks like Gotham or probably OL Reign. Make that, sit on the bench for that, another $1 million.
Because you're demanding the whole purse to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest one on the team.
Teammates be damned.
Yeah. So
all right, we love that stuff. On that note, we are going to come back in just a few minutes right after this break.
Okay, welcome back to Snacks. We're going to play a game. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's why I came on.
Okay, so one thing people don't know about you is you like to write jingles. We're going to throw out a situation and you're going to write the jingle, like on the spot.
All right, fine, but it has to be about Gotham.
We do have one about Gotham. Do you have something prepared for us?
Not really. To be honest, I was in a meeting at 12 my time and was kind of preparing, and someone was like, what do you think, Steph? And I was like, B, A. Oh, wait, sorry.
Okay, so let's start with the NWSL. They do not have a jingle. We do not have a jingle. Give us an NWSL jingle.
I think it would just be something like NWSL. Lynn and Christy make those tickets sell. Go Bats. Go Bats. Go Bats. Can't catch them. Go Bats.
That was really good.
I don't know how you're going to beat it. We have like 5 more scenarios for you. Did you actually just come up with that?
Well, I didn't know that you were going to ask that question.
Oh my dear. Okay, can you come up with a World Cup jingle?
Sam Kerr is going to bring the thunder. Everyone knows we're going down under. Sammy versus Chris. Who's going to win? If you get a header, you better not miss.
Woo!
I hope Jay's jaw is dropped behind the scenes of this.
Yeah.
I told him we had jingles coming, and I did not expect this.
Okay, if the ref makes a bad call, like a bad ref call jingle.
Yeah.
She said, yeah.
Give me a minute.
She said, yeah, let me think.
All right, ready? I'd say don't go too far. I gotta check. V A R D. Oh, maybe you wouldn't be in it. Speaking of VAR though, in your game, Lynn, it was like such a long break. It was like
so long.
That's how you scored the latest goal in NWSL history.
Exactly. I think I need to work on the quickest, but I just have a feeling that the ref didn't want to give us the call, so they were just like,
yeah,
and then we were like, yeah, it's a handball. Give it.
It was a handball.
It's so funny because Juan, our coach, was yelling at me and Christy because we were obviously standing right next to the ref.
Yeah.
Just while they were watching it, and we were like, it's a handball, it's a handball. And he looks over at us and he goes, it's a handball. And we're like, we know. Like, what else do you want us to do?
I know.
Okay, so Steph, 2 more jingles. You're waiting to go into the game and you want the coach to put you in.
I'd say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Okay. Today. I'm just steal that one. Maybe what's wrong? You want to be in the jingle? Okay, Peanut.
That wasn't the best one. The World Cup one was so far the best, but we need a snacks jingle.
No, I want to do one for Gotham, and then I'll do a snacks one.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
The game's gone rogue. She's taking it over.
Do it.
B-A-T-S. Everyone knows the Bats are the best. Christy to Lynn, we're always gonna win. We might be old, but we are Gotham.
We might be old.
You guys are kind of old. You guys are kind of old.
We are kind of old, but that's all right. We're experienced.
You know what? Kevin De Bruyne was asked about Belgium's chances in the World Cup, and he just point blank goes, we're pretty good, but we're too old.
Yeah.
Gotham's not too old, but you're old.
I like how you
old.
made win rhyme with Gotham.
Bim. Yeah.
I liked that a lot.
That's kind of like Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
With rhymes with like mansion.
A mansion.
Mansion
in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I'm gonna put you in a mansion somewhere in Wisconsin.
But that should be your official jingle.
I agree.
Well, we need an official jingle for snacks. This could go viral, Steph.
What's your favorite snack? Is it when Lynn is running down the field on the attack? Or is it in the studio with her and Sammy M? Finn's in the background. Won't stop, God know when. Maybe's in there too. Little puppy wine. Come on, snacks. Our podcast is so fine.
Maybe.
You guys, that was great.
Loved it.
That's pretty good.
It was like really long.
Thank you so much for those amazing jingles, and thank you so much for being on Snacks.
Appreciate it, guys. Anytime you need someone, let me know.
We'll just recording.
Wait, who's next? Who's next coming up?
Well, funnily enough, we're recording with Christy on Sunday, and her episode's coming out Thursday, and then your episode's coming out the next Thursday.
I have a question. Why is Christy jumping me if I'm recording first? That's ridiculous.
Well, Christy's episode, when we first did it, was the most popular episode we've ever had.
Wow.
And she made us have Snacks merch that people still wear today.
Did you give her royalties, or you better take the pie?
I've done enough. I help her with her taxes. That's her royalty.
Remember when you guys had Sporting Chic?
Oh, dude.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Can you give us a chomp, though? Oh, my God. She was a natural.
Okay, so next week on the podcast is Allie Krieger.
Oh, my goodness. I am so excited for this lady.
I know. We're going to talk, hopefully, all things mom. It's Mother's Day. And just, talk. She's retiring. It's crazy. So tune into that. Sam, one last thing. One random thought. Go on.
Yeah, you guys, I texted Lynn ahead of this recording, and I said, Lynn, I have horrible news to share on the podcast. It's not serious, so nothing to worry about. Do you think you're like ready and prepared to hear about this situation?
Yeah, I've been prepared for 49 minutes because you texted me at 8. So,
all right,
now it's 8:49.
everybody, I have 2 neck pimples. They are on the front of my neck. Look, it looks like I was bitten by a vampire. Why do I have 2 neck pimples on my neck? Where,
Sam, that is devastating.
How does that happen to one?
I don't know. Like, I also don't understand pimples in general. I'm like, I'm almost 30. Why am I still getting pimples? I thought this was like a high school thing.
I'm so friggin' rattled about the neck pimples. Like, I don't know how to play. Should I wear a scarf? It looks like I have been bitten by a snake on my esophagus. It's so absurd.
On my esophagus. Put some like little ointment.
I'm going to put my pimple patches on them, but then I'm just going to have pimple patches on my neck all day tomorrow.
Well, it's better than 2 giant spider bites.
All right, you guys. Neck pimples aside, don't forget to subscribe to Snacks on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts. Snacks is produced by Jay Wolf, Lauren Day, Patrick Godino, and John Murray. For more great women's sports content, go to justwomensports.com and be sure to follow Just Women's Sports on all your favorite channels. I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams, and you've been listening to Snacks.